Welcome back to another episode of the Film Bunker. This week we're talking about the greatest openings in film of, well, I wouldn't say all time, but things that just basically resonate in film. Where
Things
we just
that have
go,
caught our
that
interests.
was awesome.
Yeah. Totes.
Stick around. Alright, let's kick off this episode with Justin's choice. Because I love this, and this is what actually I agree with him on his reasoning for this.
So, all right, this is the scene that actually made me want to become a filmmaker. This is
It's good. It's a good choice.
The opening scene of Terminator 2.
Ooh,
the opening shot selections of Terminator 2. So basically, you've got 4 shots before the actual subplot begins, and the 4 shots are: there's 3 shots of traffic jams and traffic being slow. Then there's 1 shot of a little girl on a swing, which dips to white and then goes into this dolly shot of a bunch of skulls on the ground, and Sarah Connor starts talking. Now, prior to the Terminator's foot hitting the skull, that imagery, what it actually does is it sets you up for the film in a really weird way. It basically makes you go, you know what? I hate traffic jams. That's the worst part of being human. It is that it's the negative part.
100%. So it's actually Jim doing his thing that he loves to do, which is imagery representing elements in life. So that's humanity at its absolute worst.
But then followed by the little
Innocence.
girl, the life, and
Innocence
her on a swing,
life.
and no one can really look at that and go, I don't like that.
Yeah,
because she's so innocent, she's such a little girl, and that's why I love that throughout the film is always that imagery of the swing and
then chaos and destruction. And
so that 30 seconds, it sunk me in so much that I woke up after watching it for the first time back in the early 90s or something, and I said, you know what, I'm going to be a filmmaker because I want to make people feel the way that made me feel.
Okay, so going back to Troy. Yeah, exactly right. What happens? It just starts and it pans like on an army. So they're about to. It's just going to be this huge battle, and the king,
Agamemnon.
I can't say it.
Agamemnon.
Agamemnon.
Say it slow.
Agamemnon.
Nailed it. Agamemnon goes to their king and is like, hey, let's settle this. Nobody needs to die. Your best versus my best. And baits him. He baits him into this. So clearly it looks like he knows about this Boagrius fella. You know what I mean? He's like, no problem. Boagrius! Right? And then Agamemnon...
I got a Magnum.
Brian Cox's character.
Brian Cox's character. I can't say that word, dude.
Agamemnon. I got a Magnum.
I got a Magnum. What? Stop.
I got him.
Gosh darn it.
All right, just go.
He then goes like, Achilles! And everyone's like,
Agamemnon. Boagrius has this effect on many heroes. Carefully you insult our king.
Yeah. And he's just waiting. He's like...
Where is Achilles?
And then the next scene is him just lying with women and a small child is like, hey, there's a big guy wanting to fight you. He's like,
I wouldn't want to fight him.
That's why your name won't. That's why no one will remember your name.
Great scene.
And then it's over in a split second. He comes in. He's like, yeah, let's go. Blocked. Lose the shield. Increase pace. Dodge. Zubaka. Done. Boagrius falls like the Titan that he is. Done.
and Chad's done that shit. All right, I'm gonna choose. I'm gonna go with Jurassic Park. As a kid, when I saw that opening, the imagery was fantastic. The trees rustle around a bit.
Yeah.
And first you think, okay, this might actually be dinosaur, and then the crate comes through. I love that. Yeah, it's Spielberg at his finest, tricking us there. And then the shooter.
Yeah, when things go south, because like what happens? Like the black fella does. Something happens and he's in front of the cage or something.
Yeah.
Or
So
like, it doesn't latch properly. It like slips back.
And so the door was a bit open, and and she grabbed
Godfrey,
his arm.
open the gate, and he goes up on the top and starts lifting it up.
Second
really
team, move in.
Loading team, move out.
Yeah.
Gatekeeper.
Yeah.
That poor fella.
But yeah, and he does it in the second film too. Like I love the beach scene with the little girl, and then the mother screams, and it quickly cuts to Jeff Goldblum in the subway having a bit of a yawn. I love that. He's so good at it. Go back to doing those films, Spielberg. Your choice.
I already gave one. Oh, yeah. So my second choice is actually Forrest Gump. And this is, it's just the opening credit sequence before the actual first scene begins. And all it is it follows this little bird feather all around, like for about a good minute and a half or so. And the camera's literally just following it around, and as the cars go by, it just swings up and,
that's
and
right.
Then it lands on Forrest's shoe, and he picks it up and puts it in his little book, and then it begins.
And that's how the story begins.
And I saw how it was done the other day.
Very poetic.
Yeah, really, really beautiful.
Okay, how was it done?
Well, a friend of mine, Ashley Jensen, that made Project Eden, she did a very, very similar trick in Project Eden, where basically there's a girl lying on the ground, and the camera's following a leaf, I think it is, that's falling down, and it lands into shot with her there, sort of thing. And basically, they just got a little blue screen, a bit of fishing line, and literally dangled this thing going in and out of focus and all sort of thing, and then just got rid of the green screen. Brilliantly done.
Easy done.
So simple, so brilliant.
That's pretty all right.
Project Eden, lovely film.
There you go. Debunked how to do your feather scene.
Boom, boom, boom.
Moving right along.
Yeah.
Let's go something really poetic. So, the Dawn of Man scene in 2001: Space Odyssey. Brilliantly cinematographed.
And this is where I love how film.
It's a new term, cinematograph.
Just with imagery, it can actually speak to people.
Admittedly, I've not seen this film.
Okay. So the opening scene is like apes, and sort of it sort of plays on the fundamentals of where we came from as a species, and then it uses very clever transition. So
as the apes are fighting over like a bone or something,
I think it's like a
one
dead
of them
animal.
Throws it in the air, and the camera follows it up, and it turns into a spaceship, and then the film carries on.
Sort of, so it shows the acceleration of
it morphs, obviously, like it.
It's a transitional effect.
But like through imagery.
So it just shows that we, from a really primal state of existence, we've accelerated to the point of interstellar space travel or whatever. So it's very, very poetic. Great scene.
That's all right.
From a master of film, Stanley Kubrick.
How about? Well, it's actually done quite a bit in film. The bank heist.
No, I know where you're going with this.
In The Dark Knight.
Oh, pulling my heartstrings. Christopher Nolan.
That was brilliant. The whole the masks and everything, the way that they're building up the Joker. I hear you guys war paint, like just
talking about him, even though he's in amongst the crew, but you didn't know that kind of thing. And that scene is so synonymous now with Hans Zimmer's music. So when the camera's pushing in on the building right at the beginning, it's like that droning cello or whatever it is, and it's just like
it's such a good
bang,
scene,
the glass
man.
breaks out, and that's
like, and I love that each guy has to kill, like, the guy is like, did you do your job? We're supposed to kill you. He's like, it's funny. You told me to do the same thing.
What?
Oh, I killed the bus driver.
The bus driver.
And he's just stepping out of the way, and the camera's sort
debunked fact about that. So that was actually shot in an old post office in Chicago that had been abandoned. Beautiful building. But they weren't allowed to do anything in terms of construction to the site. So they weren't allowed to touch it or anything like that. So they actually pulled the whole bus apart and rebuilt it back inside.
Yeah.
Carried it in bit by bit and then rebuilt the bus to have the bus inside. So there you go. But he shot that whole opening sequence with IMAX cameras, which is the first time that's ever been done as well.
Nice.
So there you go.
6K?
Oh, I don't know. It'd be some stupid amount of imagery.
You know what else is a good little bit in that scene? When the bad guy, one of the goons is counting the shotgun rounds.
Where did you learn to count?
Yeah.
and he goes, that was
6, right?
6, right?
He's out. He's out. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he comes out and he's it's like, do you know who you're stealing from? Whose money this is?
You and your friends with Dad. Yeah.
And he puts the grenade in his mouth.
Yeah. And then the little, like the threads coming out of his pocket.
Man. Great scene.
Great scene. Tip my hat to you. Sticking with the Batman theme, I know a lot of people had a problem with this film, but Zack Snyder, his imagery is incredible. That opening scene, the Bruce Wayne story, I like to call it, where he basically shrinks the whole story of how Batman became, how Bruce Wayne became Batman, into that opening sequence with the music and stuff like that. And I think he did the same thing with The Watchmen as well.
I thought that entire film was great.
Yeah, well, no, see, it got to a point as soon as the giant CG character came in, I lost interest. But prior to that moment,
as soon as it became Lord of the Rings,
so like we're going on what you were talking about with that imagery sort of thing. I mean, when we were watching The Man of Steel, we didn't really think about what people on the ground would be kind of seeing from that point of view. So when we see it from Bruce Wayne's point of view, we're looking up and watching this
it's a good
carnage. It's like, he's got a good reason, you know.
It adds calamity to it and grounding.
Yeah, man, absolutely. That was intense. I was watching. I was watching, and I was like, I didn't even realize it was Superman fighting somebody. You know what I mean? I was like, what?
Oh yeah, that's right. That's the last bit of Man of Steel.
What's happening? I didn't watch Man of Steel.
But in particular, the opening sequence of music and Bruce Wayne's story, I just love it. I think it's brilliant. So, all right. Well, we like talking about cameras, and we talked about IMAX cameras. We talked about doing trickery with cameras. So why don't we go to where somebody tried for the very first time putting a huge string of cameras together to create this effect.
I believe it was 40 to be exact.
Oh, is it? It was
40? I'm not sure.
Actually, it was. I don't know.
What's that?
It was just about that many. So.
A roundabout.
What's the film?
The Matrix. So the Trinity escape scene from the Matrix, and basically there's this apparatus which is shaped like a giant arc, and they had camera after camera after camera after camera all shooting at the same time, and they literally went frame, like when in the editing room, they're cutting out frame by frame by frame by frame, and it ended up almost looking like she was in suspended animation. But that's why she's moving very.
So when she jumps up and she and then stops, and the camera goes.
So that wasn't like hey, let's put this in slow motion. That was like hey, we have to do this.
There's always like a
once
hey,
again
how do
practical effect versus effects.
It's like hey, how do we capture this for the actual cool that it is?
Yeah, nice.
Bringing her down now.
No, Lieutenant, your men are already dead.
And is there any other films where they've really done that? I don't think. Okay.
Since then, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
It's become but like it's cool when something makes it like iconic.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, totally, man. I mean, that was a pretty standout film.
It's a great scene because like the Agent Smith comes in and the cop is like, "Jeez, here we go." And it's like, "I sent 2 units. They're bringing it down now." It's like, "No, man, your men are already dead." It's like, dude, it's just a girl. That's cool.
Yeah.
I thought
Badass Trinity.
Was it Winona? It was Winona Ryder. Yeah.
No,
Who?
it was Carrie Ann Moss.
Trinity?
Yeah.
What?
Carrie Ann Moss.
Winona Ryder. Winona Ryder.
All right, let's go with some Aussie fare. Mad Max Fury Road.
Man.
Yeah, man.
Man.
Was that your Aussie? Was it?
Man.
Man.
I don't know what that was. That was Borat. That was weird.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Like the interceptor parked up on the hill.
Yeah, man. And then.
Does it start with the lizard first?
Narrating.
Yeah.
It's no. He's parked. It is standing. Rock. Lizard goes. And it's like, my name is Max.
Yeah.
And as he starts narrating,
so good.
You know what I mean? And the lizard crawls up to him and he's like, bah! And he uses his foot, he like throws it into his hand and starts eating it. And he's like, they found me. And as he turns, he's like,
it's sucking tail or something.
Yeah, it's sucking it in.
Me or everyone else.
Hello? Where are you? Where are you now?
Here they come again, worming their way into the black matter of my brain.
And then he jumps in the interceptor, and then a great opening
man.
car chase, and it flips like 500 times.
Yeah.
Before we go to the PS of Resistance, whatever you call it, I've got an honourable mention that's not actually going to be in the list because it's actually a series, but the opening scene to Narcos.
Yeah. Okay.
Basically, it's this opening scene, and the whole thing's like partially been narrated by the main guy. But the opening scene is basically the cops, or like sort of led by the DEA, going into this bar with a bunch of look like innocent people and just gunning the crap out of them. And it sort of freezes when one of the main guys sort of gets hit in the head, and it goes, "Hold up. Don't call me the baddie just yet." And then at the end of the like maybe 3 or 4 episodes in, you get to that actual scene in the chronological part of the thing, and it's just like, oh yeah, you just shoot him, take him out. It's so good. It's so good.
Oh, okay. Well, before we get to then, let's do a couple of honorable mentions. I'm gonna bring in Swordfish.
Yeah,
I think that's a great opening sequence. Once again, camera trickery where it sort of goes through the cars and all the ball bearings, and it slows it right down. And then I think it goes right to the end with the last. Or wait, no, maybe it starts with the ball bearing rolling to the guy's face or something like that, and then it reverses or something like that. It's brilliant anyway. Great opening sequence. Speaking of amazing openings, let's discuss Omaha Beach.
This one's all you, brother. This one's all you. Go.
When I first saw that was for me. Apart from obviously when we talked about Terminator 2 being the drive to be a filmmaker, when I saw the opening of Omaha Beach and Saving Private Ryan, I just couldn't believe it that they managed to capture that on film. so real, so impactful. That the bit where you're sort of inside the landing craft to start with, and it's they're sick and and it's 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Copy with. Get up on that beach. Make sure you clear those motor holes. And then the next minute.
Let's not forget even how it starts before that with the old man.
Yeah, that is very true. So I mean, obviously, it's the old man walking up to the graves first, and then a really great tight shot comes right up in on his eyes. Of that reflection, that this man has seen a lot of pain, and really hammers home the last few words of the movie, which is "earn this." Tom Hanks says to Matt Damon's character, "Earn this." But yeah, that opening sequence on the beach is just
every little bit of it too, like the "don't shoot, let him burn," or little
and then bringing in another character of film that a lot of people don't really think about is sound. Sound is such an important aspect in film. It's its own character, and the decision to drop
the concussion bit.
Yeah, when Tom Hanks gets knocked around a bit, and they sort of drop all that audio and sort of get that.
Well, see, a lot of these decisions in that particular film became iconic things that were used a lot afterwards. So, as an example, Star Wars Episode 7, they had a very, very similar intro where the stormtroopers were all lined up and thing, and then out they come.
Well, JJ's biggest, he's a massive fan of Spielberg. He just idolizes Steven. So.
But I think even in that, they still had the concussion thing in that as well, where what's his name?
Gets knocked around a bit. Finn?
Yeah.
Well, it's sort of realization that he doesn't want to be.
His friend died or something. He picks up the blood and he wipes it on his face, and then all of a sudden he's sort of looking around and
right.
A bit shell-shocked.
It's like a tribute to Saving Private Ryan.
But according to Janusz Kaminski, who's Spielberg's cinematographer for Saving Private Ryan, they shot that beach landing scene over a week.
Oh, wow.
And they shot it in chronological order. So they shot inch by inch. They actually fought their way up the beach.
Holy cow.
And Spielberg,
that's crazy,
he had 5 cameramen on set during that thing. And he's, apart from obviously Janusz, who had to follow the storyboarding sequence, he said to all these other cameramen, do your own thing. That was his direction. Just do whatever you see. So he filmed it like a documentary would. And that's why when you watch it, it's so real, it's so visceral, because these guys are capturing the moment as if that's what happened.
So the camera's shaking and...
Yeah, so little bits like the guy picking up his arm and walking around with his... looks for, is that it? Yeah, okay, that's my arm.
Yeah, that's crazy.
The bit where the guy's got his guts out and he's... And
he's like, what's happening?
Yeah, so all that was captured by BCD unit, I think.
That's unreal. The more you know, ladies and gentlemen.
Greatest openings in films. If you can think of some really good ones, we'd love to know about them. Put them in the comments below. Otherwise, as usual, we love having you here every Friday. So, I know, sorry, I ruined it for you. But,
comment,
and subscribe.
And we'll see you next time.
See you guys.